Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show. Meet the trusted experts who will give you straight answers and will help guide you on the path of later life care. Now, here's your host, founder, caregiver, and CEO, Suzanne Newman.
And welcome everyone to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And you know, this is an amazing time of year because so many things are coming together. And one of the things that's really exciting for Answers for Elders is we have a brand new organization that I am very excited to share with you, because if you're a senior that you're sitting in a home that may not work for you anymore, and I know I just went through it this summer. What I found for me is I knew I needed to make a change, but I didn't even know how to begin, right? And, you know, you may have things sitting around your house. You don't know what the right next steps are for you. You don't know a lot of things. And so we are so excited. From now on, for a while now, you're going to meet a new expert, and I'm very proud to introduce Juli Anne Gibson, and she is the founder and CEO of Real Estate 55 Plus. Juli Anne offers so many specialized services for seniors. She works with families in different capacities and all kinds of things that she's done, including she works with real estate agents. She works with executors or of estates or different sorts of aspects that you're dealing with, maybe estate planning law or different things like that when it comes to real estate. And so I'm very proud to have Juli Anne on our show. So Juli Anne, welcome to the family of Answers for Elders.
Thank you, Suzanne. It's so great to be a part of Answers for Elders.
You know, Juli Anne, I've known you for a long time, and I have heard so many incredible stories. And one of the things I know about you that really sets you apart is you have such a heart and a vast experience in working with seniors in various capacities, whether they're, you know, my age, a younger senior, or older, and you know, or in an estate situation. And so I am so thrilled that you can give the families out there the voice and the experience. From your experience, you can guide them. So I'm thrilled. And your organization, you created Real Estate 55 Plus, a lot of it just because of your own experience. Is that correct?
Correct. My background before real estate was in long-term care, and I got my real estate license and quickly realized that the majority of real estate agents were really great at the selling a house, but they didn't know all the complexities of working with a senior who was maybe downsizing and had a house full of stuff. Maybe they weren't, you know, able to make really good decisions any longer and didn't have proper legal documents. There's a whole host of things that can arise when someone's selling the family home. And so we created a system and a process on helping someone create a roadmap so that we can minimize a lot of that stress that can occur.
You know, and that is so true. After just making a move myself, I'm so blessed that I had support in various areas, you know, and people like you, because the thing that I think gets us caught up in not being in an environment that supports us is we just don't know where to start. You know, what are you finding? Like, how can you help people if they're in this situation of, I don't even know what to do?
Sure. Well, when we can compartmentalize the senior that says, I'm going to create a roadmap and a plan, and they can attend one of our Aging with Choice workshops where we explore the housing options available, whether a senior decides they want to age in their current home, or they're thinking they want to live multi-generationally, or they want to move to a 55 and older community. Oftentimes people don't know the options that are available to them. So we teach those Aging with Choice workshops. And then we have clients that we're really working more with the adult child. And there's been a crisis, you know, mom or dad fell and are no longer able to go home and live alone by themselves.
Right.
You get called in, and really it's kind of triage at that time. And then we work a lot with executors and executors for estates. So if someone has real estate that they need to sell with the probate process, we step in, and most people are just overwhelmed with what that looks
totally.
like.
Emotionally and financially and all the above, just trying to figure out, you know, how to deal with all of this overwhelm when you've had a horrible loss. So I can certainly imagine that there's a lot of scenarios that you guys can help out with. And it certainly differentiates yourself from other types of realtors, but you also supplement realtors across the country as well, don't you? You actually
Correct.
help. You're kind of a background entity for them to leverage. Is that correct?
It is. And the key is we look for our affiliate partners, our affiliate real estate agents that already understand the listing process and they know the local market. So we do the coaching and the mentoring and training with them on what do you need to know about getting somebody through that transition. And
True.
that's probably the hardest part is, yeah, we can sell someone's house, but what's the person going to do with all their things? Or what are the services that are available to a senior? Oftentimes people
Yeah.
don't know what they don't know, and agents don't know what they don't know. And so we educate them
Yeah.
and we can provide that information to seniors and their families so they can make really good decisions about
Right.
housing and aging.
Well, and I think true, like I remember when I sold my mother's house when she moved into assisted living, there was a huge expense to get into a senior living community.
Yeah.
And yet I didn't want her to have to live in a house that we had to do repairs on and things like that to get it for market. And so there's this transitional time that you guys also help with. Is that correct?
We do. We actually have a client that lives in a home, been living in a home for a long time, and recently has moved to assisted living. And most of our seniors, their major asset that they have is the equity in their home. So they
Sure.
don't have the funds to pay for an assisted living or retirement community or memory care. So we offer gap funding and we
That's
pay that
great.
directly to the community so the senior can move in. And then we do any of the needed repairs or a refresh on the property so we can maximize their net proceeds. And then we get reimbursed at closing for paying for that gap funding. And we don't charge an interest rate for that. There's not a minimum or maximum amount of
That's so
time.
amazing. And the other thing, you're probably getting more money for them because you know what small repairs that need to be made or things like that, or enhancements to the home that,
Correct.
maybe it's a fresh coat of paint. Maybe it's just, putting a new countertops down, or it's something that, upgrading the faucets and light fixtures, things like that. If somebody's lived in a house for 50 years, I know those are things that can add dollars.
Absolutely. And we recommend to our clients that we do what we call a pre-listing inspection of the home. Not only will that provide information for our senior clients so they can make good decisions on repairs, if it makes sense to do a refresh or make repairs because they're going to get a return on investment, that's great. But it's also really great to provide that information to a buyer so they can
Sure.
make good decisions on writing offers. And then we know when we list a property, we can fully disclose any of the issues with the home.
Yeah, and that makes total sense. And then they have the choice whether to move forward or what specifically to do. But the idea, obviously, is that you guys represent the senior as well, which I think is
Correct.
really cool. Where a lot of times you'll go into like a construct, you have to turn into being a construction project manager or something like that, and that's not something somebody wants to do. So they end up selling a house maybe as is, when they could have gotten hundreds of thousands of dollars more for a property.
Yeah, and if somebody, most of our clients rely on us to choose products that are going to appeal to today's buyer. And
Yeah.
depending on the style of home, who's going to be that buyer? So when we set the stage and we stage that property, we're looking at the buyer that's going to be looking at that property. And whether it's we're doing a $15,000 refresh or a $100,000 refresh, we work with the family on how that's going to get paid, what
Right.
that's going to look like.
That's
And so we have,
wonderful.
a variety of products that we can offer to clients, but it's uniquely created based on a senior's circumstances and what makes the most sense and what's going to make the most money and save the most time.
That makes so much sense, Juli Anne. And I'm saying, so I'm sure you have a million stories out there of how you've worked with people. Could you share one with us?
Sure. I mean, ideally, we would love for all seniors to create a plan about housing and aging. In the United States, we are really uncomfortable talking about the last season of our life. I call it the senior season. So we don't do that. We avoid it. We avoid that conversation. So when we teach aging with choice workshops to the general public, and we ask the question, have you made a decision about where you want to live and where you're going to live? Most of the clients that we meet with and the general public say they want to stay in their current home. The next question that we always ask is, well, who's going to help you make decisions if you no longer can?
Yeah.
And what we find is that 50% of the seniors that we work with don't have their legal matters in place. And so their plan is no plan. And that is a plan. So they're waiting for a crisis to happen. So the stories that we have a lot of times with our clients is they aren't aware of the documents that they need and who they need to appoint for those, to create those documents. So you could have a financial power of attorney, you could have a medical power of attorney. So oftentimes we're making those recommendations. If somebody was a veteran and they may be able to access aid and attendance services, oftentimes people aren't aware of that.
Yeah, they don't even know.
Yeah, if they're wanting to stay in their current home,
or disability, if they have
or disability, and what are the property tax discounts that a senior can access?
Exactly.
So oftentimes it's really simple things that people aren't aware of, that we help create that roadmap so they can stay in their home for as long as they can. And when they no longer can stay there independently, what are the options that they're going to explore?
Yeah. And, when I think about, people don't even know where to start. It may be 5 years from now when you're going to leave your house, but to have a plan on what's going to happen and how everything's going to roll out, that takes a lot of stress off your shoulders of this looming period. What have you found when people have a plan? How does it change?
Well, when they have a plan, number one, I think it just gives you peace of mind knowing, hey, if I'm no longer able to make decisions, this person's going to make those for me and they know what my decisions are. So when we get called in to work with the senior and all the family or the friends know what the plan is, we don't have to do a lot of the triage. So we spend a lot of time in crisis management with families trying to figure out, okay, where are the accounts at? How do we access that information? And it's not that a senior has to share how much money they have with their family, but everybody has passwords and usernames. Somebody's no longer able to share that alone can be cumbersome for somebody.
Absolutely. And obviously to sit down with those that you are, you're saying, will you be the executor of my estate? Those things have to be in writing. And I'm sure you kind of help facilitate that as well.
We do. We have about 72 different types of services or organizations that we partner with. And depending on someone's unique roadmap for housing and aging, we plug in those services for them.
That's amazing.
Oftentimes it's that they just don't even know about it. I mean, that's what we find. People are always saying to us, I wish we knew about your services sooner.
Yeah.
You saved us a lot of time and aggravation.
Yeah. Like, matter of fact, making one phone call instead of making 500, right?
Correct.
So Juli Anne, how do people reach you? I know you have information on our website, but we would love to have you share if somebody's listening to you in the car. How do we reach you?
You can reach us by calling our 1-800 number, which is 1-800-964-1553. And a live person will pick up the phone.
Yay.
You can also visit our website at realestate55plus.com.
And that's spell out PLUS, correct?
PLUS, correct. Thank you, Susan.
Yes. I just want to make sure that we do that. So anyway, and Juli Anne and I are going to be back with another podcast right after this. We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.